Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 17 of the NordCast. It is Monday, February 27th, 2023. It's been a while since we had a Monday podcast, at least something a little positive about this dreadful Monday. I'm your host, NordCast7 here, joined with Carter, who's munching on grub again. What do you got today, Carter?
How's it going, everyone? I got a nice little cheeseburger, and little Canadian classic. We got some poutine as well. Every single time we record, I'm always like busy beforehand, so I never have a chance to eat. So I always just try and squeeze it in, and yeah.
Yeah, so this is probably going to become a new thing, Carter's Daily Grub. So, yeah. And here I'm also joined with the anti-Canadian cable man himself. It's Jack Polko. How you doing?
Yeah, that's me. Doing good.
For the video listeners, Jack is wearing a hat that has a clock on it. Is there any meaning behind that?
Yeah, so it's actually a Cubs hat, and
Oh,
the clock says 120 on it. And every Friday, the Cubs are at home. They play at 120, so that's the meaning of it.
cool.
Wow.
All right, we got a pretty eventful video here today. We got the trade deadline preview, basically. Basically what we're gonna do is this first segment, just like the last episode, we're gonna go over all the trades that have occurred since our last podcast. Then we'll go over headlines and trending players and all that stuff that we usually do. And then we'll go into some other topics later on. First off, we have a lot of trades we got to talk about, so we're just gonna dive right into it. Starting off with the Timo Meyer deal that lasted what felt like almost 5 hours before we found out the official deal. It was announced at like 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time that Meyer was going to get traded over to the Devils. Then there was like rumors of his cap being retained, which it was. Then there was like Fabian Zetterlund, Andreas Janssen rumors. Nothing was really set in stone though. So like us fans were kind of left in the dark for a little bit. And then everything started popping up around, I'd say, 7, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Took a while for everything to go through. But with the bigness, I don't know if that's a word, of this trade, you definitely can see that it explains a lot why it took a while. So the Devils' end of this deal, they acquired forward Timo Meyer with 50% salary retained. Defenseman Scott Harrington. Some of these names, I'm going to struggle at pronouncing them, but forward Timur Ibrahimov. Ibrahimov.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Might
It's
have got it.
it's not it's not Achilles, so I can't correct you.
Okay.
Very true. Very true.
uh, yeah. Defenseman Santeri Hataka. Yeah, that's probably not it. But I was also we'll also get into it later. But I was calling Pavel Gugulev. Yeah, whatever. Goaltender Zach Edmund and a 2024 fifth round pick. Then on the Sharks end, they acquired a 2023 first, a 2024 second, Andreas Janssen, Fabian Zetterlund, Shakir Mukamadulin, Nikita Akunchumyuk. Yeah. And then a 2024 seventh round pick. I cannot pronounce names. And especially with all these Russian prospects and these
Yeah.
strange names that feel like they're just like feels like some of these names they just like use a wordle or like a random letter generator to create some of these names, which is crazy. But I mean, wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, so I'm gonna start off with my initial thoughts. Now, this is a pretty good deal for the Devils, 100%. You get a really solid 26-year-old forward in Timo Meyer, who's putting up 35 goals. However, that qualifying offer is not going to be very good for them. Yeah, like $8 million. They have to sign him if he's an RFA. So that's the big thing. And then they also acquired like a depth forward in Scott Harrington, or depth defender, sorry. Not that big of a deal. And then the other players, honestly, they were kind of just thrown in to like filter the Devils roster. Don't understand it. And then the fifth round pick as well. If I'm also correct too, that fifth is a conditional. I'm not entirely too sure. I didn't include like conditionals or anything like that. So
I'm pretty sure it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple conditional picks in here. But then on San Jose's side, underwhelming return. Now, you guys are gonna flip out on me because of all the names you have listed here, but Mbon Hockey said it really well. Quality over quantity. Or quantity over quality. Oh my God. Quantity over quality is what I was trying to say. I can't say anything right today, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, like a first round pick. That's great and all. Definitely great. A second, which is good too, definitely. Janssen, he's been in and out of the lineup. Hasn't been very good. Zetterlund, pretty solid rookie. Mukamadulin, B-level prospect. I have no idea who this Akachuk guy is, to be honest. And then the seventh as well. Really, you could have gotten, and I'm going to bring up a lot of Mbon hockey points here because he really did hit it spot on. He said that, like, you could have gotten, like, a guy like Alexander Holtz. Mercer was obviously a part of the rumors, but he didn't get moved. So the only thing is there, like, it just feels like they really didn't get much in return, and it's not that good of a deal to kick off obviously the rebuild and the first big player that they move out. They obviously have a lot of other players they can trade away, like Kevin LeBanc, Tomas Hertl, and Erik Karlsson, of course, but I don't really see it being that much of a change to this overall trade. So yeah, give me your guys' thoughts. Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, I mean Devils, that's a huge pickup for them. Obviously they're looking to go on a big playoff run this year. Good record, good place in the standings right now. So they get a guy like Timo Meyer, and I really think they're missing some star power outside of Jack Hughes. So now they get that other superstar in Timo Meyer, still only 26 years old, and I think he'll be a Devil for a long time after this. To be honest with you, I think he fits the team really well and where they are now and in the future. So I really like it for the Devils, and really it was a fleece to be honest with you. Yeah, the Sharks really didn't get anything eye opening from the Devils in return. So yeah, really good for the Devils.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Nothing really eye opening here. If they got Holtz, maybe this deal would have been a
Yeah,
little bit better,
then we're
but like
talking.
really don't really see much of any importance here. Not underrating Mukamadulin. I really like his game. I've enjoyed watching some of his highlights. Could be a pretty solid defenseman for the Sharks 100%, especially with all these big cap guys on that blue line that are just liabilities. Like Vlasic. Actually, Burns is gone now. But mainly just Vlasic at this point. Mukamadulin will be a good asset. But yeah, Carter, what do you think?
Yeah, honestly, the Devils definitely pulled some strings here and really got a great deal for them, especially when you try and get a guy like Timo Meyer. I was honestly shocked that they kept their best four prospects. Well, I don't know if you'd count Mercer as a prospect because he's with the Devils right now, but they kept probably their four best young guys. Dawson Mercer, who's a pretty solid player. Alexander Holtz, who's struggling to find his game, but he can definitely play that role. You got Luke Hughes as well, who's a big defenseman. And then they just got their other guy, Nemitz. And they just got Nemitz, and he's still on the roster. The fact that they kept those four guys and got a pretty solid superstar player in Timo Meyer was honestly shocking to me. So, honestly, not the best return that the Sharks could have got, especially for a guy like Timo Meyer. But yeah, I think they definitely could have gotten at least some better prospects.
A first will definitely help. I mean, like you want to get draft picks. That's the biggest thing in a rebuild, obviously. And, getting a first round draft pick, that will probably be from like 17 to 32. So not that bad of a deal, but really when it's in a stacked draft, it's not that bad of a pick. But yeah, honestly, any last thoughts on this Timo Meyer deal? I really don't see it being that good of a move for the Sharks. Really good for the Devils, though. I think I saw something saying like the first line was like Timo Meyer, Jack Hughes, and Jesper Bratt, which is a pretty scary line if you ask me. But mind you, though, Bratt and Meyer are both free agents, so that is something to keep in mind there 100%. Now we'll move on to another three-way deal, and guess what? It involves the Minnesota Wild. Just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but it also involves the Boston Bruins and the Washington Capitals, as the Bruins have acquired forward Garnet Hathaway and defenseman Dmitry Orlov with 75% salary retained. In exchange, the Capitals acquired a 2023 first, a 2025 second, a 2024 third, Craig Smith, and the rights to Svetlikov, whoever that is, and a 2023 fifth round pick. So, breaking it down here, this is a win-win for both teams, or all three teams. I got to be entirely honest with you. This is the first ever three-way trade I've seen where I'm going to say, yeah, all three teams win here, to be honest. Bruins, they acquire a pretty solid, tall depth forward, and Garnet Hathaway will probably play like a third or fourth line role. Definitely a solid player to the roster. And they get Orlov. And not only do they get Orlov, they don't really give up a lot for him. Like, when you look at the two parallels, you have Vladislav Gavrikov and you have Jacob Chikrin. So Chikrin would probably cost you your entire farm system to get. And Bruins were not open to do that. They already don't have that good of a farm system. Then you have Gavrikov, who hasn't played that well to be worthy of a first-round pick or whatever they gave up for Orlov. So this is a really good alternative. Orlov is pretty good defensively, or not defensively, offensively as well. So a really solid defender that the Boston Bruins need 100%. And then the Capitals, too. They were the main, talking point in our last episode about how they need to rebuild, or retool, sorry. And they got picks to do that. And they also got a pretty solid, middle six forward in Craig Smith. So, yeah, I just kind of explained the entire trade, but whoever wants to give their thoughts, I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. The rambling helps me think.
Okay.
No, honestly, yeah, you kind of hit it right on the nose there. It's a very good trade for both teams there. Washington's kind of are they out of a playoff spot? They're like just
not
out,
yet.
right?
They're still in it. They're in the race, I think.
Okay, well they're in a wild card race right now.
Yeah.
So they kind of do need something to probably shake up the roster. I mean, giving up Orlov is definitely something that's hard to do, especially for the Capitals, who could definitely use Orlov, but you do get some nice picks in there as well. Craig Smith, he's a great piece for them to have in this deal as well. And yeah, honestly, a pretty solid deal for, I guess, all three teams, even though Minnesota not really in it, but they get a 5th-round pick for retaining 25%.
I don't really understand what the Wild are trying to do here. They're just getting late draft picks.
They're just like, hey, we got lucky in 2015 with Kirill Kaprizov. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just own the 5th round in 2023 at this point.
Didn't they get a 5th in the O'Reilly trade?
Yeah, they got like a 5th or like a.
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh my gosh, they're about to pull in.
Stacking up the 5th rounders.
They're just gonna have every pick, every single pick in that round.
I think that's their ultimate goal.
That's what the Coyotes were doing last year. Last year they had the Coyotes and the Kraken had I think it was 20% of the picks in the first 3 rounds of the draft combined.
That's crazy.
It was crazy, how many draft picks those two teams had. Yeah, Jack, do you have any thoughts on this deal?
Yeah, just def moves for both teams. Craig Smith going to the Capitals, def move there, and then I like Orlov a lot for the Bruins. I think he's a good piece in where they are right now, and I think it'll help both teams out. So yeah, win-win.
Yeah, makes that blue line just incredible.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Another thing I forgot to bring up too is one of the big worries that Boston's had before is that some of their defenders come playoff time would get hurt. Like Brandon Carlo or Mike Riley would often get hurt during the playoffs, and having another defenseman definitely helps. So pretty good trade overall. We'll move on to this trade between the Vancouver Canucks and the New York Rangers. The Canucks have acquired forward Vitaly Kravtsov from the Rangers in exchange for William Lockwood in a 2026 7th. Pretty underwhelming return. Now I knew Kravtsov wasn't going to get a lot. Okay, I knew Kravtsov wasn't going to get a 1st-round pick or anything like that. But they waited so goddamn long to make this move, almost 2 years to make this trade, and you get a 7th. I knew they were trying to get a high draft pick, but the Rangers really realized what many of us realized long ago: Kravtsov has no value. So yeah, that's more or less the deal. You guys got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, not really. I heard clearing out space for Kane, maybe.
Yeah, pretty small deal, to be honest with you. This next one, though, I know Carter will have some interest in. It's between the Winnipeg Jets and the Nashville Predators, as the Jets have acquired Nino Niederreiter in exchange for a 2024 2nd-round pick. Carter, what are your thoughts on this deal as a Jets fan? I actually think this is a pretty good deal for them, to be honest.
Oh, 100%. I really like this deal. I really like Nino Niederreiter's game. He's like, again, he's not one of the guys that's going to put up a bunch of points. He's a solid like 50-point guy every season, but he brings just that like little element that can really help your team in the regular season, in the playoffs. He just brings just some sort of fire, some sort of spark that can really help your team go. And he's under contract for next season too. So getting him for a second round pick is something that I'll definitely take. And Nashville, we'll probably get into it later when we get to Tanner Jeannot, but they're kind of looking at kind of retooling right now anyways. So I guess getting a second round pick for them is probably pretty good as well. So honestly, I find it fair for both teams, but I do like the edge that this gives my Jets.
Yeah, Predators fans, you're in for a long ride. We got a lot of Predators stuff we got to talk about in this upcoming pod. But yeah, like this is also Niederreiter's a winger as well, right? Like he plays wing. It's actually a pretty solid alternative from someone like Timo Meier. Like, I mean, you didn't need like that huge winger, and you got a solid middle six winger in Niederreiter. I think it's a good move, and especially too. We'll get into this a little bit later, but Cole Perfetti being out a little bit, definitely acquiring Niederreiter is going to help that a little bit. So
yeah, I'm not sure exactly, like, because I will get into it later, but I'll just quickly say it now. Perfetti out for 8 weeks. Hopefully, it's nothing longer than that. My assumption is Niederreiter, when Perfetti comes back, he'll probably slide in on that third line with Appleton and Lowry. That's my assumption, unless Niederreiter somehow is just playing unbelievable with Dubois and Connor. I don't see him taking that spot away from Cole Perfetti, but even if he does, I'm not going to be too mad about that.
That could happen. I mean, Niederreiter came to Nashville and actually played pretty good in his first couple of games. So, yeah. A couple other like 1-for-1 moves here. The Montreal Canadiens and the Dallas Stars also made a deal where Montreal acquired forward Denis Gurianov, and in exchange, the Stars acquired forward Evgeny Dadonov. Pretty big 1-for-1 deal here. Both players have been involved in trade rumors. Dadonov being kind of like that second option for some teams, and then Gurianov being rumored to be moved in a 1-for-1 trade. Pretty solid deal for both teams. I'm going to give it the win-win. I don't think you guys have any thoughts on that, but this next move is between the Vegas Golden Knights and the St. Louis Blues. The Golden Knights have acquired Ivan Barbashev from the Blues in exchange for Zach Dean. Actually, a pretty solid move here for the Golden Knights. Barbashev was actually garnering a lot of traction from some teams, and there were even rumors that like they could get like a second or like a first for Ivan Barbashev. So giving up Zach Dean, which is like a B-level prospect, pretty solid for the Vegas Golden Knights. This next trade is between the Colorado Avalanche and the Chicago Blackhawks. And Jack, this is the trade that you were not looking forward to, as the Avalanche have traded for Jack Johnson from the Blackhawks in exchange for Andreas Englund. Just
blockbuster! Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to spend 10 minutes on this one.
This is the move that Jack was just fearing.
I know.
He was like last night, guys. He was crying. He was just a literal.
Yeah, sad to see Jack Johnson go.
Jack,
win a cup, buddy. Go win a cup.
All jokes aside, this isn't that big of a deal. Honestly, just kind of a 1-for-1. This is kind of just like a chemistry move for Colorado. However, Johnson's had like the worst analytical season like almost ever.
Yeah, he has not been good.
He's had a bad year. But yeah, Englund has actually been playing pretty solid for the Avalanche. So
yeah,
not a bad deal for Chicago. The final deal we'll cover before we take a little break. The Tampa Bay Lightning and the Nashville Predators made a pretty big trade as the Lightning acquired forward Tanner Jeannot from the Nashville Predators in exchange for defenseman Cal Foote, a 2025 first, a 2024 second, a 2023 third, fourth, and fifth draft picks. So just a huge haul here for the Nashville Predators for Tanner Jeannot. What are your guys' thoughts on this deal? Because this is pretty interesting. I'll start off with Carter.
What a haul for the Nashville Predators. I'm not going to lie. I was not expecting Tanner Jeannot to get this much. I thought maybe he'd get like something. I didn't think it'd be this high.
Sorry. Yeah. I shouldn't interrupt you. Go.
No, go.
I honestly like projected that he would get like a second, like maybe just like a second. That's kind of really all I saw for him, but
Did
this much is crazy.
did Tampa like just not try offering this for Timo Meyer and see what they'd get? Because like they give up. Well, he's not. I don't know. Is Calfoot like? What would you kind of rank Calfoot? Because I'm not super familiar with his game. I'll be honest.
He's
Uh,
It's like
not that
a
bad of a
mid
defender.
defenseman.
he's decent, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty. He's young too. That's what
Yeah.
the
Yeah, he is young.
pretty solid.
He's probably one of Tampa's better prospects too. So the fact that they were able to get him and a first and a second, and then basically everything from 3 to 5 in the 2023 draft from
Same thing with Hagel last year too.
I know they're just going all in on these guys who have
Yeah.
at least 2 years left on their deal. Tanner,
Juno's a free agent.
is
Juno's an
he?
RFA.
Do you
Yeah,
know?
Juno's an RFA.
Oh shoot, I thought he had one more year left. Anyways, we digress. Tanner, he does like kind of was saying with Nino Niederreiter, he does bring that element of like physicality to his game. That's what he is. He's known as an enforcer. I'm pretty sure he led the league in fighting majors last year.
Yep.
So yeah, he does bring that spark that kind of Tampa Bay could probably use because they don't really have a lot of guys that are just gonna go out there and scrap. Well, besides for Maroon, but he's a little old. But anyways, yeah, he's a young guy. He's only 25 years old, so definitely not super bad, but definitely an overpay in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, people are overlooking this a little bit. Now, I think you did just touch base on it, but I do want to say that they're getting mad because of how much Tampa gave up, which they gave up a ton. I'm not going to deny that. They gave up too much, but still, you see Jeannot. He's one of the more physical players. I think he might even lead the league in hits, which is crazy. He's a fighter. He can draw penalties. And he's not been that good this season. He scored a lot last year. He actually played pretty well. He's been in a sophomore slump, but that could also be a factor with like the Predators haven't been very good either. So that could play a role in it. However, Jeannot is a type of player that we don't see too often anymore in the NHL. And I think that's why Tampa may have given up so much, but still a very good haul for the Nashville Predators. Tampa, now in the same situation as their neighbors, the Florida Panthers. They don't have a first until 2026. So we're not going to be seeing any Florida teams in the first round of the draft, given no trades happen until 2026. So that is something. But yeah,
That's
anyways.
so long.
Yeah, Jack, do you have any thoughts on this before I
Yeah, overpay for sure. I mean, Janot's a good player, don't get me wrong, but you shouldn't be giving up that much for him. Tampa's kind of dumb. They're going all in. If they don't, make a deep run, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, we saw this with your boy Brandon Hagel, and
Yeah,
Hagel's actually been playing really well this season.
Yeah, he has.
Underrated. So
I don't know what they see in him, but we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Breeze Ball sees something we don't. But anyways, that's all we got time for in this segment. We will take a little break and get back to the trades. All right, welcome back. So we're going to talk about some of the other trades that have occurred. We only have like 5 more, but one of them is of importance. This one's between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks, as they have acquired, Toronto has acquired Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, a 2024 fifth, a 2025 fifth, and in exchange, the Blackhawks have acquired a 2025 first, a 2026 second, Joey Anderson, and Pavel Gugulev. I don't think that's how you say Gugulev. Is that how you say it, Carter?
Lev?
Go-Lev. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Go.
Not Gugulev. Go-Lev.
Gaga.
Jack. Yeah, that's why I don't like saying it, because it sounds weird. Jack, I'm gonna turn over to you.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I really like how they got the first rounder. I know it's not until 2025, but it's still a first rounder. Guys like McCabe and Lafferty, they're not really going to be a part of, the future of this team. So you get a first rounder, second rounder, and then a couple prospects. I think that's a really good trade for us. And yeah, Lafferty and McCabe, obviously, they're really good role players, you could say. And I think they'll thrive pretty well on the Leafs. McCabe just being a good defensive defenseman, blocks shots, does the dirty work, and then Lafferty, just a really gritty forward. So yeah, I like it for the Leafs, and I like it a lot for the Hawks. Another win-win trade. We've said that a lot today, but I think it's another win-win trade. And I wasn't expecting Lafferty and McCabe to go together, to be honest. But obviously the Leafs like them both, so why not send them over there?
Yeah, I think it's a good win-win deal for
Yeah.
Chicago or for Chicago and Toronto 100%. Obviously, Jake Muzzin was out for the season, is going to be out for the season. So that definitely puts a hole in Toronto's blue line. So they want to get somebody without giving up too much. And McCabe was a very good alternative from, as I said, Jacob Chikrin and Vladislav Gavrikov. And then Lafferty, too, really kind of popped off with Chicago this season. Going to be a pretty solid third line forward for the Leafs. And as for the Blackhawks end, they want draft picks. They got them. And they got some prospects. Gogolev apparently heard really good things about him. So be ready, Jack. Carter, you got any thoughts on this deal?
Not a whole lot, honestly. It's kind of a fair deal for both teams. That 2025 first that the Blackhawks did get is top 10 protected. I'm not sure what happens if it does go in the top 10. I don't know if they get a 2026 involved in that. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah, definitely a pretty solid trade for both teams. There's definitely helps address some issues in that Leafs kind of lineup, even though they're stacked, so it doesn't seem like there is any. But on the defensive side, it definitely helps getting a guy like Jake McCabe.
Yeah, 100%. And I also did forget to mention too, there have been a couple instances today where there have been top 10 protected picks. I think the Jeannot deal had one. I think the Bruins deal might have had one. The Meyer deal I think was like top 2 protected, but yeah, just thought I'd throw that in there real quick. But anyways, moving on here, we got 4 other minor trades that I have to announce. I'm not gonna go really too in depth with them. Starting off with this first trade between the Vancouver Canucks and the Buffalo Sabres, as the Sabres have acquired Riley Stillman, and in exchange, the Canucks have acquired Josh Bloom. This other trade here between the Nashville Predators and the Philadelphia Flyers. The Predators have acquired Isaac Ratcliffe from the Flyers, and in exchange, the Flyers got future considerations, or more or less nothing. The other deal was a 1-for-1 between the Boston Bruins and the Colorado Avalanche. The Bruins have acquired Shane Bowers, who was really hyped up to be a pretty solid player a couple of years ago and has never panned out to be that. And then in exchange, the Colorado Avalanche acquired Keith Kincaid, which provides some goalie depth. And then the final deal I wanted to talk about was the Anaheim Ducks and the Chicago Blackhawks. The Ducks acquired Hosea Slavin. Yeah, Swayman. Slavin from the Chicago Blackhawks in exchange for Hunter Drew. I don't think Jack has that many thoughts on that deal. So, yeah. I don't think Jack's listening right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, no thoughts. No.
Looking
That's
at your
common
phone,
for Jack.
huh? Get off your phone.
Sorry, sir.
Just kidding.
Jack, stop watching Chicago sports.
Hey, none of my teams are on tonight, so
I figured you might have the Bulls on or something like that. I see.
yeah, no Bulls tonight.
I see something glaring in the background.
Yeah, I always have the TV on.
Anyways, that's it for all the deals. I think I got all of them. There might be a couple that I missed, but it's been a pretty busy past couple of days with the deadline just about 4 days away. What, Carter? Got something?
Did we do Keith Kincaid?
We did Keith Kincaid.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Were you not listening?
I was checking all the trades, so I wanted to make sure I had all of them, and I guess I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
Classic.
Moving on to headlines. We'll start off with the big news. Linus Ullmark scored a goalie goal since the last time we were on the podcast. Crazy. Very. You don't see that too often. I think the last time we saw it was Pekka Rinne.
Yeah, Pekka Rinne against the Hawks.
Oh man. 3 years ago, Pekka Rinne scored the last goalie goal. So Linus Ullmark becomes the first to do that in 3 years. He's having a Vezina level season. He's most likely the favorite to just win the Vezina by a mile. And then he has a goal to add to that. So the funny thing is too, is like there are some people that like I saw a TikTok today saying some people that have more goals than Josh or more goals or less goals than Linus Ullmark. I cannot talk today, guys.
It's all right.
Less goals than Linus Ullmark, and a couple that were like listed were like Josh Anderson, Jonathan Drouin, Troy Stetcher, Chris Weidman. There's been a few that haven't scored goals this season, and Linus has more than them. David Poyle is retiring as the Predators GM, and Barry Trotz is taking over. Wow, two big components here. Poyle is retiring, the only GM in Predators history by the end of this season, and then Barry Trotz is taking over. So Trotz is going from a coach for many years to a GM. So honestly, not that bad of a transition. And Trotz has studied so much video as a coach. He'll definitely be a really good GM, in my opinion. So definitely a really good move there for the Predators. Poyle's obviously been a part of this team for a long time, and I think 24 seasons they have made the playoffs 15 times, which isn't bad. Next news here, we got some injury related news. Arbor Xhekaj has announced that he is out for the season with a shoulder injury. Unfortunate news for Wi-Fi. Kasperi Kapanen was claimed by the St. Louis Blues off of waivers from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Kapanen has not been very good for Pittsburgh this year. Kind of surprised he was even claimed. Cole Perfetti, we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but Perfetti is going to be out for 2 months. Carter kind of mentioned basically saying that, the Niederreiter deal definitely is going to help out with that. But, it definitely helps out with the long-term injury that has come towards him. Moving on here to some other news. Craig Berube has apparently called out the St. Louis Blues in a press conference following the loss to the St. Louis Blues, to the Vancouver Canucks in overtime. Carter's laughing, dude. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm tired. That's why I'm saying all these random stuff. But I'm gonna play the clip and then we'll discuss it. So we'll be right back.
A lot of our best players not doing the job.
Why do you think that's the case?
I don't know. You have to ask them, Jim. I guess they don't care about the team. I don't know. And they should go out and play with inspired. Our best players don't play with any passion, no emotion, and no inspiration at all. They don't play inspired hockey. You cannot play in this league without emotion, grit, and being inspired. They're getting paid lots of money, and they're not doing the job. End of story. That's it. That's what it boils down to.
So that really sounds to me that Craig Berube's lost the locker room, to be honest. I mean, when somebody comes out and says that, they're playing with no passion, it look like they just don't care. Sounds like it's somebody who's lost the locker room. But additionally, they have had so many moves that does play a role in it. But not very good there. This other really strange thing also happened as well. Apparently, following the Dmitry Orlov trade, Columbus supposedly had a deal in place with the Boston Bruins for over a week, and Boston repeatedly asked for more time. CBJ apparently wanted to do the trade ahead of the deadline so they could potentially flip the Boston first to the Coyotes in the possibility of getting Jacob Chychrun. I don't understand that logic. Why would you want to get Chychrun? You're rebuilding! Don't understand.
Yeah.
I guess it does make sense they were in on him last offseason. If they actually got him last offseason, maybe this team would be better. Nah. But
too many injuries on this team for them to possibly be better.
Yeah. That's really all it boils down to. And then the last piece of headlines here, we also have another clip I want to share with you guys. Fire Hextall chants have begun, and they are like clear chants too. You can clearly hear them. After the Penguins were down 6-1 by the Oilers after 2 periods, Pittsburgh fans started chanting this out, and I don't think it's very justified. But anyways, I'll play the clip. It's basically just them saying Fire Hextall, but you can hear it's the whole arena. Yeah, I really don't understand the logic behind that. I truly don't, because this team's made the playoffs for 15 straight years. They were going to fall out eventually. Now, I know that the Penguins fans are expecting Hextall to make a move. I mean, I guess that's what's supposed to happen. But Channing to fire the GM, really, he hasn't done too much of anything to really say that, no, it's his fault. So, yeah, I don't understand that logic. Anyways, we'll move on to trending players. And first one is Patrick Kane. 10 points in potentially his last 4 games with the Blackhawks. He went out with a bang.
He did, yeah.
Insane. That overtime goal against the Golden Knights was also really good. It sucks that it didn't count.
Yeah.
That was a nice goal. Like, that's a nice traditional hockey goal that you see. I wish it was a buzzer beater too in overtime. Would have been awesome. But yeah, 10 points in his last 4 games played. And also, by the time this podcast up, Patrick Kane may be a Ranger. Who knows? As well as that too, Keandre Miller's also in trending players for spitting on another player. This is also another weird story. Completely unjustified. Have no idea why he did this. Just being a really dirty player overall. Honestly, and it kind of like it reminds me of like the Brendan Lemieux thing when he bit Brady Tkachuk. Kind of all good.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was brutal. Yeah. Another trending player is John Gibson, who has been playing just out of his mind these past couple of games for Anaheim. 3+ games with 50+ saves in a month. And that is the first time since 1955, 1956 that a goaltender has done that. So that's a huge milestone there for John Gibson, 100%. And then the final trending player before we get into game of the week is Connor McDavid, as he has officially reached, as of I think about 10 minutes ago, 50 goals. So yeah, for the first time ever in his career, he's reached 50. At this rate, he's moved faster than David Pastrnak. How many goals could McDavid realistically get?
How many games left? Around 20?
Here, I'll look.
I'm going to look it up. But
so they're at 60 right now, but I don't think that counts this game. So they're at 61. So there's 11 games left.
11. Isn't that 21?
Oh yeah, 21. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm very bad at math.
Yeah, I am too. I am.
50 goals in 62 games.
Possible.
I'll do the math.
Honestly, he's played at a really high level, and he is right now. The Oilers also have a really easy schedule coming up. He could get like 70. He could get like 75, maybe even.
I think so. Maybe not 75, but
70 is a possibility. I think he'll definitely hit 60. I think
my 60.
My guess is 65.
I think 60 is definite, but 70 might be pushing a little bit. But I think if he like just picks it up, he could. 100%.
It'd be nice to see him score 70. That would be something to see.
Yeah. When was the last time we seen that? What, Mario Lemieux?
I have no idea.
Like, I think Mario was the last time we've seen a player score 70.
Probably.
Yeah. Goals. I guess that's the rhetoric now in the NHL. Well, it obviously has been. Anyways, moving on to the final piece of our news-related type topics here. We'll go to game of the week, where I'll give it to Carter. Carter, what's the game that everybody should tune into?
All right. So there's actually, honestly, in my opinion, there's a couple of good games to watch this week. One game that I would probably go out of my way of to watch. We got the 2 top teams in their respective divisions. We got the Carolina Hurricanes, first in the Metro as of right now. And then the Vegas Golden Knights, who are first in the Pacific. So we'll get to kind of see those 2 top teams maybe eventually. Well, I guess this would be in 2 days. So maybe one of those teams make a move here before the deadline. Maybe we get to see a new player in those uniforms. But yeah, honestly, I find that being the game of the week.
Yeah, very good pick. We'll transition out of the news and headlines and take a look at something that we have been cooking up. We're going to guess, and I've gotten together, I think, a solid, 25, maybe 30 players here, and we're going to guess where all of them go. So, yeah, we're going to start off with Patrick Kane. I think we all have the answer. We're just going to kind of say it, New York Rangers. I think I think it's universal. I think we all have the same one there.
Yeah,
Right.
Rangers.
Yeah.
Carter, no, Boston Bruins.
I don't know, guys. I think the Jets could make a realistic run here.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think Blake Wheeler and a 4th-round pick is enough.
Sure.
They couldn't get Taze, so they went for his brother. Anyways, we'll move into the other players here because Kane's the most obvious one. He's probably going to get traded before this podcast even gets released. Jacob Chikrin. Who do you guys think? We'll go off with Carter because I always forget Carter. So we're gonna start with Carter.
You always just forget me or Jack when you have one of your
yeah, it's
when
one
you
of
have
the
one
two.
of your buddies on. You always forget. Me and Jack are the afterthought of the NordCast. There's a couple teams that I feel like could definitely use a guy like Jacob Chikrin. I don't really have one set team in mind. If I had to go with one, I could realistically maybe see Buffalo making a run at him. He's a pretty young defender, and they still are a young team. Especially getting a guy like Jacob Chikrin, you could pair him with Darlene, you could pair him with Owen Power. You could pair him with a lot of guys on that roster, on that back end there, and he'd help them shine for sure. So I think if Buffalo's realistically trying to make a move here, either late in the season or early next season, Jacob Chikrin is the guy to look for.
Yeah, I like Buffalo. That's a good pick. Jack?
Yeah, I said staying put. I think, there's teams that are in on him that we've heard, and I don't see any like front runner that's really truly motivated to get him. Just just injuries and stuff like that. Really high asking price. So I said staying put.
I think that's justified. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that because he does have multiple years left on his contract. But yeah, we'll see. I have Chikrin actually going to the Ottawa Senators. I think that there's been rumors around that, and honestly, even though Ottawa won't make the playoffs this year, Chikrin next season on that Sens team, that's a playoff team. Not going to make the Stanley Cup, Jack, but that's a playoff team.
Hey, there's still a chance.
Hey, you never know.
We do never know. Sens could still make the playoffs and then go on a Cinderella run. They're not out yet. Actually, neither is the Blue Jackets. They're going to win every game from now on. Anyways, Gavrikov. Who do we got? Carter.
Me? Okay. I don't know. He was rumored to go to Boston, and that was my entire thing on Gavrikov was he's going to Boston. He's going to Boston. He's going to Boston. It's still probably a possibility that he could still go to Boston, just for the fact that I don't really see another fit for him besides Boston. I think I'm just going to stick with Boston. Maybe they try and pull some sort of string to get Gavrikov, but he's realistically one of the only guys I can see Boston maybe still trying to inch towards getting. But yeah.
Jack.
Yeah, I said Boston too. I think they still have just a little bit of assets left to get him, and I think he'd be a good piece on that third or fourth line for them. Really, just one of their final moves. Really, the final move for them. Building up for the playoffs. So yeah, Boston.
Just wanted to say that defense don't have fourth lines.
Oh shoot, sorry. Gavrikov. I thought he was a forward.
No, he's a defenseman.
Oh shoot,
Jack, do your
research.
Oh, casual hockey fan. Jack.
Oh my gosh, of course he's wearing a baseball.
I thought he was a
hat
forward
to
for
a
the longest
hockey
time.
Podcast.
He's not even like wearing like a base. He's not even like wearing a blatant baseball hat. I just think he's wearing a clock.
He's wearing a clock.
Have you ever like gotten people like asked that if you wear that in school? Like, why are you wearing a clock?
No hats in school though.
No hats at what?
No.
Yeah, we don't have that either. We can't wear hats.
What? I wear hats every day in school.
I would do that if there was a
literally. Okay, every other high school in my fucking province. Sorry, but every other single school I've had, every other school can wear hats. Every year that I go to a school, no hats, and it's the most bullcrap thing.
I I have fun with my hat choosing too. Like I'll spin a wheel and then I wore Ottawa Senators to school today. I don't understand the rhetoric behind you guys not being allowed to wear hats. Just stupid.
Apparently, it's a security thing.
Yeah.
Well, we can't have our hoods up. I guess
We can't have hoods up either.
That's oh my god, so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways, going back to Gavrikov, I said Carolina maybe. I mean, like Carolina is one of those teams that could come in and surprise us because they're not in on anybody right now necessarily. They were in on Meyer, however, that's obviously not a possibility anymore. I haven't seen them in on that many other players besides maybe like James Van Riemsdyk, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And also, I don't want to break what we're talking about here, but I do want to go back to the McDavid goal pace. I looked it up. I did some research, aka I scrolled on Instagram and I found that McDavid is on pace for 67 goals.
He's on pace for 66.12.
Yeah, so
I did the math.
Okay, fine, Carter. Joel
I can get a
Edmondson.
math sometimes.
Yeah, okay, Joel Edmondson. So Edmondson was rumored to be in trade rumors as of today, if I'm correct, the 27th of February. So I kind of asked the guys. They really probably gave like the one team that they were interested in. But Carter, take it away.
Oh, I had no idea he was even in trade talks. I have not been paying attention to any players that have popped up today. But if there was a team that I could see him going to, maybe Ottawa. Ottawa could, I think, maybe take a run at him because as you said with Chychrun, they do kind of need a defenseman. And Edmondson, I feel like would probably be a pretty solid fit. He can play offensive, he can play defensive, he can play physical. He's kind of what you'd want in a pretty all-around defenseman.
Yeah, for sure. Jack?
Yeah, I said LA Kings. I think they're in need big time of defensemen. And yeah, I think he can help out that core.
I agree. I said Edmonton because that was actually like the main team too that they were interested in him. Apparently like a trade could happen like tomorrow. I also saw too though that they're interested in Ekholm, which is our next player. So Carter, who do you got for Ekholm?
Well, he was actually one of the guys that I did see that was rumored to go to Edmonton. So I think I'm just going to stick with Edmonton. They do need a defenseman, and Ekholm again, he fits kind of well with that group there.
That's justified, Jack.
Yeah, I said staying put for Ekholm.
Yeah, that works. I also said Edmonton too. Because just for the same reason as that Edmondson, they need a defenseman, and they've been in on literally everyone. Weird thing, I didn't think I'd be adding this guy here, but JT Miller has apparently become a rumored player to be moved at the deadline. I can't see it with the 8-year contract, but Carter, if he had to go anywhere, where would he go?
I'm just gonna say staying put. I don't think that there's really a way that they're gonna get rid of JT Miller as much as they'd want to. I don't see a team that can realistically make an offer for what Vancouver thinks they're gonna get. I think Vancouver's playing him way too high, probably in these trade talks. So I'm just gonna say he's gonna stay put out. Definitely for this season. We'll see what happens in the off season and next season as well, but definitely staying put.
Jack?
Yeah, I said staying put too. Like Carter said, we'll see what happens in the future with him. But yeah, for now, he's staying put.
Clean sweep. I also said staying put. He's a locker room cancer. He may be a pretty solid forward, but nobody wants that in their locker room. To be honest with you. And as well as that too, they really screwed themselves over with the term in that contract. No way somebody's picking him up for 8 years. No way. And as well as that too, he hasn't even kicked into the contract yet. So he's still on his other deal. Yeah. Next up, James Van Riemsdyk, Philadelphia Flyers forward. Carter, who do you got for him?
Honestly, I don't know. There's a bunch of different teams that I could see him going to.
That's what makes me happy. There's a lot.
I know. Maybe we get a cool pick. Oh my gosh.
Maybe Chuck Fletcher will trade for like Nathan McKinnon or some. I don't know. Something stupid.
If anything, he'll trade JVR for a 7th.
If anything, I wouldn't mind that because it frees cap. But anything, he'll sign JVR for another 7 years.
He'll give him a 10-year extension.
I'll quit. I'll quit being a Flyers fan. All right. Anyways, continue.
Anyways, JVR. Again, there's a couple teams I want to go to. Realistically, I don't really know. Honestly, I'll give 2 teams. 2 teams I think he could go to. one, Dallas, they could definitely use a guy. They already have Joe Pavelski who will sit in front of the net. If they get another guy, that just really screw up teams trying to game plan because they'll send one line out that can really dominate that front of the net and get Pavelski out of there. But then what happens? What happens on your next line? You send JVR right back out there. So that could definitely help them there. And then a possible reunition. I don't know what you reunion. I think that's what you say.
Reunion. Yeah,
Possible reunion to Toronto. It's possible that Toronto could make a run. I don't know how they'd make it work with the cap. They'll probably have to give another 5th round pick to Minnesota again. But yeah, realistically, it's possible that that he goes there.
Build up on those fifths.
Build up.
That's where the draft's at, Jack.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where it's at. That's where you get the steals.
JVR. I said sorry. I said Dallas. Yeah. Dallas. Just I think they're gonna need to make just a little bit more pieces here if they want to make a good run. I don't see them making a good run with the roster they have now. So I think a couple moves for them and they'll be good to go.
The worst overtime team in the league.
Yeah.
We're also losing to Vancouver right now as we're recording. I just saw that on my little tidbit thing here. And then as well as that too, Philadelphia also sucks in overtime. So, yay.
Why are we taking games to overtime? Just lose in regulation, please.
Why are we getting points, damn it? Oh my god. I've watched actually a couple of those OT games and they're boring as hell too. James Van Riemsdyk, I said to Colorado. I think Colorado can maybe use him. They've also been interested in him as well. So I think that would be a pretty good move. John Klingberg. Who we got? Carter?
Probably the main rumored one there has been Edmonton. They've kind of been around John Klingberg. I think they've tried a couple different times. They've checked in on him a little bit. I think Edmonton is probably, I don't know if it's the best fit for him, but I think that's a team that's most likely going to make a heavy push to get him.
Yeah, I would say the Leafs, but since they got McCabe today, I'm going to say no more Leafs. So I actually said reunion with Dallas.
That could happen.
Klingberg back to Dallas.
That was my number 2.
Yeah.
I had Edmonton, but as well as that too, Colorado apparently has kicked tires with him. That came out today too. So, yeah. Sam Bennett, Florida Panthers forward, rumored to be on the move. Carter, who do we got? Don't really know too much about this guy.
I know. I haven't heard a lot on teams that are interested in him at all. I'm just gonna say staying put because I'm not 100% sure on what teams are interested in him. I don't know what team could really definitely benefit from him. If there was a team that possibly maybe Ottawa, maybe they could use a guy like that on their roster. I don't know how that'd really work, but yeah.
That'd be kind of like what the Florida Panthers did at the time when they were trying to acquire a solid middle 6 forward for their roster.
Yeah.
Jack?
Yeah, I said Colorado. I honestly think he'd be a pretty good fit there.
That's actually not bad. I actually like that. Good pick, Jack. I said Minnesota because I was kind of connecting the dots because Minnesota wants to add a forward. And that's not a big forward, but it still is a forward nonetheless. So yeah. Bennett's in Minnesota. Nick Jensen. We'll have a couple Capitals players up next. Carter?
Nick Jensen, I have him staying put.
Yep, I do.
Oh, well, not clean sweep. I have Jensen going to Seattle. I think he could be a solid second pairing defender. Lars Eller. Carter?
Again, a lot of Capitals here rumored to be on the move. I don't know. I didn't really have him going anywhere. I'm gonna say staying put again.
Yeah, me too.
There's not a lot of guys that I can see Washington really trading. I think that was kind of. I think they made their move, and I don't know.
I guess that's fair. I said Eller to Winnipeg.
I'm not mad at that.
It's another. That's what I was thinking because I was initially thinking of that before the Perfetti deal, the Perfetti.
The Perfetti deal. Do we sign him?
The Niederreiter deal. I was thinking maybe the Jets need another winger, and Eller's a winger, and he also scored the cup-winning goal in Game 5 of the finals. So Maybe. Who knows? Dante Fabro of the Nashville Predators. Carter?
Fabro, I don't know. He could definitely fit with a lot of different teams here. I'd say Minnesota. I think I could possibly see him going to Minnesota.
Jack?
I haven't really seen a market for him, honestly. So I'm gonna say staying put.
I disagree. I think he gets traded. I said Vegas could be a solid option for him. I'm thinking like that blue line has been injury prone in the past, so it'd be good acquiring like a young defender. I've also seen too, like San Jose was interested in him. I'm like, what? Like, but whatever, go for
A
it.
little odd, but
I mean,
do
he's
you?
young. I mean, he is young, so I guess
Yeah.
that plays a reason why. But Austin Watson of the Ottawa Senators, Carter, he's actually been garnering a lot of interest.
Yeah, he's been
Has he
getting
really?
a lot. Yeah, he's been getting a
Oh,
lot from a lot of different teams. I don't know which team could really make the biggest case for him. If there was a team that I could honestly see possibly maybe Dallas, they could definitely use a guy who's got that grit kind of thing that doesn't really have a lot of scoring upside, but can definitely help them. Again, as I've mentioned a lot of teams are kind of looking for playoff players, and Austin Watson is probably a great example of a playoff player. He plays with that little edge to him. So
yeah. Jack?
Yeah, I had no clue there's interest in him, so I said staying put.
I also said Dallas, Carter. Great minds think alike. I just saw Watson being like a pretty solid like bottom six forward that the Stars could acquire, and he's a pretty great player, so definitely could be a good move. Cam Talbot has also like he rejected an extension from the Senators, so he's definitely getting traded. Carter?
yeah, I can't really see a team that like needs a goalie right now. So he's gonna get traded. It's just to what team is gonna offer him a contract. Because I don't think he's going to a playoff team. Because I think all playoff teams are pretty set on their goaltenders right now. Um. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna put this up to an I don't know, but I think he's just gonna get moved to a non-playoff team.
That could happen. Jack?
Yeah, I said Buffalo.
Maybe. Yeah, because Craig Anderson is like 42.
Yeah,
But,
he's better than Anderson.
And I guess they would technically need a guy to like mentor Devin Levi if he makes it next year.
yeah, that is true. And maybe Anderson will stand in the year. Who knows? I actually said, and Carter, I disagree with you on the fact that all teams are kind of good on their playoff goalies. Los Angeles, they've had, I think, one thing that they have brought up is that they have been looking for a long-term goalie solution. I wouldn't say Talbot would be long-term, but it would definitely be suitable come playoff time. So yeah. And the final one we'll do before we take another break, John Gibson. Kind of ended off with a bang for this segment. Carter? Because apparently he's rumored to be moved.
Yeah, he hasn't really he hasn't been like super rumored, but he's kind of been like rumored to be moved, like lightly rumored to be moved every single year because he's such a good goalie playing for such a bad organization.
That's why I included him because he's been like rumored to move every year.
Yeah. Team that could probably really use a goalie. I guess I'd have to say LA just because you brought up the point how they don't really have a solid goalie. As expensive as John Gibson would be, he'd definitely be a pretty solid fit in LA, and he probably wouldn't have to move that far, so that'd be good for him.
Yeah. Jack?
Yeah, I said Vegas.
Yeah.
I think him and Thompson could be a good duo.
I said stays. I don't really see him getting traded this year.
I can see that too.
Anyways, that's all we'll do for this segment. We'll take a break. We still got way more players to go though. All right, welcome back. Continuing with Nick Schmaltz of the Arizona Coyotes. Carter, who are you thinking? Because he's had some small rumors.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy who, again, I'm gonna say this with a lot of players. He does bring that playoff edge, to his game. A team I could see him going to. What?
I don't think he's ever been in the playoffs.
Has he not? Well, okay, no.
It
doesn't matter about playoffs. They just bring that edge that can help your team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think the only two teams he's been on is Chicago and
Arizona.
Yeah, homie has not had a very successful playoff.
He hasn't.
Career.
He's a good player though.
Maybe he played in like 2017, but
yeah,
4 games sweep.
Anyways, team I could see him going to Colorado. I think that they do kind of need a guy like that on their roster. So yeah, I think Colorado would be a pretty solid fit for him.
And yeah, ironically too, my dumbass just remembered that the Coyotes made the playoffs in the bubble, so Schmaltz has had some
Oh
playoff
yeah,
experience in a bubble, against the Colorado Avalanche. So yeah, Jack.
yeah. I said Islanders. I think they could use a guy like him.
That's not bad. A center too. Barzal's
Yeah,
hurt.
yeah.
He's a solid forward. I said Schmaltz will stay, and that's me being a biased Coyotes fan. I don't want him to leave, please. Luke Shen. He's actually scratched. He's been scratched for a while, but the Canucks can't trade him. Carter?
Yeah, a couple teams do kind of need a defenseman here. I think Luke Shen, probably Ottawa. I think they could be a team that could kind of use him.
Yeah, it's a smart. It's actually really smart. Good job, Carter.
Good
Hey,
job, Carter.
I'm not just a pretty face.
Okay. All right. Jack?
Yeah. I said staying put.
I said Toronto. I said he goes back to Toronto.
Oh,
Imagine what Leafs fans would do, bro. They would have a meltdown.
Yeah.
Then as well as that too, Carson Sussy, from the Seattle Kraken apparently has also been rumored to be moved. Carter, who do you got?
sorry. I'll try and keep my composure. I don't know. He wasn't really a guy that I had, as like a trade target for a lot of teams. I'll say staying put just because I can't really see a team that could make a run at him. Like I don't see a fit for him in my eyes.
I agree. I think he's staying put.
Okay. I actually had a team, and it actually ties in with the Nick Jensen deal. What my deal was basically that the Seattle Kraken would acquire Nick Jensen, a 2024 fifth, and in exchange, the Capitals would acquire Carson Sussy and a 2023 second round pick. That was my deal. But yeah, I had Sussy going to the Washington Capitals. That's kind of why I kind of tied him in. And also, I want to mention this too. Just because we're saying like, oh, Edmonton to Edmonton, Ekholm to Edmonton, Klingberg to Edmonton, doesn't mean we think all of those players are going to go to Edmonton.
Yeah,
I do.
They're trading for the whole league.
Yeah, we're just saying that that's a reliable destination where we think they could go. So yeah. Moving on to Connor Murphy of the Blackhawks. Carter?
Yeah, Connor Murphy. Not really like a big time player in any means. He probably gets those big time minutes in Chicago because Chicago's not really a top end team. But sorry, Jack.
No, it's okay.
Connor Murphy, he could definitely play with a lot of teams here. I'm gonna say Edmonton. I feel like they could kind of use a little bit more depth on their roster there. So I think he could probably slide into that team pretty well.
Jack? He's one of your favorite players.
Yeah, he is one of my favorite players, actually. I think he's staying put. He just just signed a 4-year deal. He's got kind of the heart and soul of the team now.
He did sign a 4-year deal, so I guess there's really no point. I also said staying put. I really can't see him going anywhere.
Yeah.
Brock Besser. Carter?
Brock Besser. I'm honestly like really sad at the downfall of Brock Besser. I'm gonna be honest. It's like really upsetting because I love Brock. Realistic trade destination. I'm gonna say the New York Islanders. I think they. Well, actually, no. I take that back. They just made a deal for Bo Horvat. I'm an idiot. I was like, oh, like they're building up a big team with Bo Horvat and
New York Canucks.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. That's what they'll turn
the New
into.
York Canucks. Now they just need Pettersson, Demko, and who else?
Boudreaux.
Oh yeah, no, it wouldn't be Boudreaux. Anyways, what? Forget it. I'm thinking too much. Okay, I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark and just say Buffalo because they're building young team over there, and maybe they can use some more goal scoring.
They're building young team.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't. Every single time I think I have a spot for Besser, it's like, no, it's just like doesn't seem like it's gonna work out. There's like not a single team that I like have my sight set on it is like, well, Besser's going here. It's
Yeah, he could. Yeah, honestly, I kind of agree with you. I kind of thought a little bit about the Brock Besser and making a move there.
he can go like anywhere. Like I
Yeah,
swear.
really. Jack?
Yeah, I said staying put. I
I
think the
don't.
asking price will just be a little too high for teams.
Yeah, maybe. I said Minnesota, because obviously Minnesota, as I mentioned earlier with Bennett, they're looking to add a forward, so maybe Brock Besser could be a good addition. And then as well as that too, I think even Besser's agents talked to them, so kind of connected the dots there a little bit. Nils Hoglander, young player. Carter, who do you got?
Niels Hoglander, I'd say staying put.
Really? Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's justifiable, but he has been getting interest, so I thought I'd include him.
He has been getting interest, but I don't think that they're gonna pull the trigger on him
Yeah,
because he has the potential to play for them, but they've just been so bad that like, is there really a point in wasting his potential?
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say staying put for him.
That's fair. I actually said because I took some of Carter's logic and saying they building young team there. I said Buffalo just because why not? Honestly,
Yeah.
realistically, besides that, I can't really see him going anywhere. He probably stays put unless if like some kind of you're not gonna get much back for him anyways. So unless if he goes to like a non-playoff team,
I think that's honestly like my reasoning for him staying put is like his value is like not super high right now.
yeah.
So like I
Really,
like if someone's value isn't super high, would you really try and trade them when they're at their lowest?
it's probably going to be like a craft stuff deal if he does get dealt. It's going to be something similar to that, which ironically Vancouver was part of. But yeah. Thatcher Demko. I don't really understand why he's even rumored to be moved. Carter.
I I could have sworn that he was one of the guys that was like locked in and he was like not gonna get traded, but because like I saw something where it was like Pedersen, Hughes, and Demko were like untouchables. Like they weren't getting traded. So I'm just gonna say staying put just because that's what I've seen.
Yeah.
And I don't know what team is gonna give up a lot to get Thatcher Demko.
Jack.
Yeah, I said staying put too. I haven't seen a lot from him this year, for teams who really want him. So
Clean sweep yet again. I also said staying put. I have seen teams that have apparently been interested, like Pittsburgh and Los Angeles. I don't see the point though. First off, he's locked up on like a 5x5 contract, and he's also been ass this year. So really,
I'll be honest though, a 5x5 for Demko is not actually that bad.
yeah, it's realistically not that bad, but like he's
No.
been
He just needs a team that can like help him more. And
yeah, and that's what
Vancouver just doesn't have the roster to do that.
the Canucks are going to be terrible these next couple of years, and Demko's just going to be wasted. He's going to be like a John Gibson.
Yeah.
Like honestly, Younes Corpusalo up next. We got another goalie. Carter.
Yeah, Korpisalo, again, I didn't really have him going anywhere, but then you brought up LA Kings kind of needing a goalie. Korpisalo, he wouldn't be as good as some of the other goalies that are probably rumored to be available. But if they are getting desperate and they're like, hey, deadline's approaching, like we got to make a move for a goalie here, like now, Korpisalo would not be a bad option for them, so I'll go with LA.
Yeah, I'd rather Merzlikins though, but who wouldn't? Jack.
Yeah.
yeah, I like Buffalo, but I know I said Talbot to Buffalo. So I'll go LA. I like LA.
Wow, clean sweep that isn't people staying. I also said the LA Kings. Great mind.
Nice.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Because really, basically just the same reason as I said for Talbot. They need a long-term goalie solution. Well, not long-term, but like they need a goalie solution.
They need a goalie solution until they can either get one in a draft or sign a good one.
Yeah, because Quick is he's not bad, but like he's slowly aging out of Quick.
Elite.
Copley is not a playoff reliable goalie, even though he's been okay, and Peterson has not panned out to the level the Kings wanted him to. Max Domi. Carter.
Honestly, Max Domi has been really good. You didn't bring him up in trending players, but I just like to quickly acknowledge Max Domi. He has been really good. I think he had 12 points in his last 4 games.
Oh,
like
he was the one that had 12 points. Somebody said that, and I thought it was Kane, but it wasn't.
Yeah, he scored in like 4 straight games, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I told you that Domi should have been in the trending players,
I
and then you didn't
completely
shout him out.
overlooked Domi. No, you didn't. You said Gibson.
No, I said both. I said Domi as well.
Oh, my fault. Okay.
You know, we're not gonna argue in front of our fans here. Max Domi again, he brings that playoff edge. You can say whatever you want. He brings that element of physicality. He brings goal scoring. He brings the points sometimes. Team that he could probably go to. Maybe we could see Colorado making a move for him.
That's not bad. I actually like that, Jack.
Yeah, I like staying put, or if he was to get traded to a team, I like Carolina again.
I also said Carolina. I think Carolina would be another good move because Domi played well with them. And then as well as that too, like I feel like afterwards he could come back to Chicago.
Yeah,
He could like
I know he likes it here, so
he could like honestly say like, you know what, we might suck, but I'll get traded over to Carolina, give you guys some assets. I'll go try and win a cup there, and if it doesn't work out, I'll come back to Chicago. Maybe that's what he does. Who knows? Nick Bajustad, Carter. There's been some traction around him, not a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
He'd be
really
like a
have
fourth line center.
what's up?
He'd be like a fourth line center, realistically. Like,
Yeah, like he wouldn't be like a guy that a lot of teams would like pay a lot for. Like he'll probably get like a sixth or seventh round pick for him. Um, so I don't know. I'll say Minnesota because they could probably use somewhat of a center, um, fourth line, third line, something like that. But yeah,
I think he's even played for the Wild before too. So
he
Jack,
might have, I think, but I could be
yeah.
wrong.
Jack.
yeah, I don't see much around him, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'll say staying put.
I also said staying put, but like if I could see him going somewhere, maybe he goes the same place as Chikrin. Maybe like because like maybe what I could see is like Chikrin gets traded to a team and they just like throw him Bajukstad because why not? Maybe that's
Yeah,
what they do. Who knows?
try and get a little bit more for
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
their assets
even
there.
though the return's gonna be like insane.
Yeah, even though the return for Chikrin's going to be off the charts, but it's like, here, we'll give you Bukes or
We'll
Bajor.
give you a fourth line center
Give you a fourth line center to sweeten the deal.
that your players will be like, who? Um
Who's this guy that we just traded for?
who's this irrelevant forward?
All the other fourth liners on the team are just like, oh, we played against him a lot.
Jesse Pugliarvi up next. Carter.
Pugliarvi, young player, he just hasn't found his game in Edmonton like ever. I think he's had probably one like half decent season. And as I said, they build young team over there. Give me the Buffalo Sabres.
that's what I said too.
Oh, really? I said
Yep.
I said staying put, and then like even like as a side thing, I said free agency because like I can't
Yeah.
see this guy like staying with the Oilers. If he doesn't get traded, he's definitely walking.
Oh,
But
he's gone in free agency for sure. If he's
yeah.
getting out of Edmonton no matter what.
What Holland is worried about though is like if he trades him to like another team or like he lets him walk, he's afraid that Pugliarvi's gonna like dominate. Like
Which he most definitely can.
Which
Like
he can
Pugliarvi
get.
has the skill set to do it.
he's young too, so it's possible. Shane Gostisbehere, another Coyotes player. Who we got? Carter.
Goss the Spirit. We're looking for a team that needs some offensive, defensive upside. Um, that team that I am looking at, I'm gonna go with the Seattle Kraken. I think maybe they could make some sort of move in order to get Goss the Spirit because they don't really have like a big offensive defenseman, do they? Like
They don't
most of their
really have,
defensemen.
like that notable of a blue line.
No, so
Yeah, no, not at all.
definitely
They got
adding
some
Goss the Spirit
underrated-
could help them.
They got some underrated defenders there, but really they don't have that much. They don't have like that big name of a blue line. Like you got Vince
Yeah.
Dunn, and, like Jamie Alexiak. Apart from that, a lot of forgettable guys, and
Mhm.
apparently their blue line must have been pretty good because their goaltending is not very good.
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah, I said LA Kings. Think they could use a guy like Gostosphere.
Okay, and Jack, I also don't know what you're saying that none of your sports teams are on because Chicago's playing right now.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm watching them now.
Yeah,
They start at 9. That's the thing.
I have my tidbit thing on. They just blew a 1-0 lead to the Ducks. Anyways,
Yeah.
I said that Ghost could go to the Oilers, obviously, because Oilers could be a pretty interesting spot there. But I wouldn't mind seeing Ghost go to the Kraken. Honestly, that's a pretty good one, Carter. Good job. Colin Parayko, final defenseman. that we have
Colton
here?
Parayko. He honestly, I didn't expect to see him in rumors until St. Louis was like, "Okay, we're blowing everything up. Tarasenko gone, O'Reilly gone. Who's next? No one's safe anymore." Parayko, a team that needs a defenseman again. I don't know. I'm gonna. I don't have a player for this. Can I just let you guys go while I think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, Jack.
Okay.
Yeah, I said Dallas for him.
All right, that's not bad. Division rival, and then like also I
Yeah.
think right defenseman too. So like Dallas needs right defenders. Um, I actually originally said Edmonton because screw it, Edmonton is interested in every defenseman. But I'm actually gonna go back to what Carter said. I'm gonna say Kraken. Because like he really did bring up a good point. Like they need a really solid offensive defender. And as well as that too, they don't have that notable of a blue line. So definitely would be a good acquisition. So Carter, do you
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Seattle again. Kind of
yeah.
stick with the same
There
mindset
you
I
go.
had with Gossa Spears, offensive defenseman. So they need some scoring from their blue line that's not Matty Beniers or McCann.
Yeah, pretty good idea. Jordan Greenway, Carter doesn't have that much value, but he apparently is gonna get moved.
Yeah, he's gonna get some sort of
He's going
return
he's
there.
gonna get moved, like, for sure.
They're gonna try and move him.
Oh shoot. Okay.
They could pull a RV and just not.
And
Yeah.
just not move him at all.
I mean, I said staying put for him, but
I mean, that's justifiable. Carter, what?
Yeah, that's definitely justifiable. I'm gonna say Dallas.
Okay. I had another one that like it connects to another player. Like I said, Brock Besser to Minnesota. The return would part of it would be Jordan Greenway. So that's what I said. So Greenway to Vancouver is more or less what I said. And then last but not least of all these players before we get into our final topic, Gustav Nyquist. Carter.
Gustav Nyquist. Yeah, I don't I don't know. He's a player that I could see going to a bunch of different teams. If there was one team that I'd have to say, I'm gonna go with Carolina.
That's not bad. Jack.
yeah, I said staying put for him. Like a lot of the other guys, like I said, I don't see like a big market for him. But I like Carolina though.
I also said staying put. I just can't see them really. I can't see Nyquist really going anywhere. Also, I want to give a big shout out. Mikko Rantanen has officially reached 40 goals this season. So,
There
round of
you go.
applause, Avalanche fans. Yeah, so we'll move on to
Filled
our
with
last
sadness.
topic here, and it's kind of similar to what we did in a previous episode with Mbon Hockey. Let me share my screen here really quick. So, basically, what we're going to do is we're going to tier rank all 32 teams once again between whether or not they are going to be buyers or sellers. Apologies, taking forever for me to share my screen. For the audio listeners, you can't really tell what's going on here, but for the video listeners, you're going to be able to see pretty much everything here. So, one thing I just realized is that we don't have Seattle in the in this, so I'm going to need to remember that.
Should we start off with Seattle then?
Yeah, we'll start off with Seattle. So, where do you guys realistically think that Seattle would be? Would they be like passive buyers? Because we actually added that from the last time we did this with Barner. We have 5 columns now.
Yeah, I would say passive buyers.
That's justifiable. Yeah, I'd probably go
Yeah.
passive buyers as well.
I'd go passive buyers. I don't think they have to go too heavy. They still have a decent future. So
They aren't in on that many players. I saw them in on Jonathan Taze. That's the only one I can think of right now, really. Like for somebody that like, but Taze is staying in Chicago, so
Yeah.
I digress. We'll go to the beginning now. Anaheim. So I think we all know without a doubt Anaheim's going to be sellers. So
Yeah.
I
let's
mean,
just lock that in.
more or less, they could be passive sellers though, because like really, who are they going to deal?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because they got like John
Klingberg.
Klingberg, maybe John Gibson. Apart from that, Kevin Shattenkirk, maybe I forgot to add him on here, but I haven't heard
Is Adam Henrique under contract?
he is. I did see actually somebody commented on my Devils deadline preview on YouTube saying that maybe the Devils should get Henrique, but I don't see Henry getting moved though.
He has been like pretty solid for the Ducks this season. Like he hasn't been like bad or like outstanding by any means, but he's been pretty solid for the Ducks.
Yeah.
Do we want to go passive sellers, or we don't want to just stay sellers?
I would just I would say stay sellers.
We'll just keep them at sellers because there is a couple pieces that they could realistically move. Like,
Yeah. Coyotes, I think without question, they'll be sellers. I mean, they got Chikrin, they got Gostisbehere, they got Schmaltz, they got Bajukstad, they got apparently Karel Vizmelka. I forgot about him as well. So yeah, I think without question, we'll have the Coyotes be sellers. Boston Bruins, are they done yet exactly, or do you guys think they'll make another move to be stay buyers? What do you guys think?
I think we could see one more move coming, maybe another defenseman.
I think one more like minor move. So honest, I'd put them in passive just because they're not gonna go out and like out of their way to like get someone. But if the right option's there, I think they'd take it.
Yeah, I also agree. I think we'll go passive buyers for them. Buffalo. Now, Buffalo was in on Meyer, from what I heard, but now Meyer's at the Devils. I haven't seen really any other rumors involving Buffalo. So do you think that with that, do you think they'll stay put? I think staying put could be a viable option for them. I mean,
I think so too.
we've said a ton of players here that Buffalo could go out and acquire, but this group has done so well that it's not that maybe staying put's a good option. So I'll leave it to Carter. Carter, you're a big Buffalo guy. What do you think?
Yeah, I am the spokesperson for Buffalo on this podcast now. Honestly, I think that realistically they'll probably stay put. I'd honestly want to put them in passive just because they're probably going to look for a young guy. Because again, they build a young team over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so kind of the same thing as Boston. They're not going to go out of their way to buy someone, and they're not going to just do nothing and just sit back and be like, yeah, our team's good, but if the right option's there, maybe they take a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them in stay put though, because
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think if they're gonna be aggressive at all, they won't be they really won't be. There's pressure on them definitely to make the playoff, but at the same time there isn't because they've done so well this year.
Yeah, and no one thought they would.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
kind of, I don't know, like they haven't made it in ages, so maybe I have no idea. But anyways, Calgary. They're actually kind of interesting because they've fallen out of a playoff spot and they're out of it by a pretty decent margin, by like 6 points, I think. So, what are we thinking? I don't think they sell,
Yeah, me neither.
but they don't buy either. So I think they might have another scenario where they stay put
Yeah.
or be passive sellers. But I don't see anybody they could really move though, realistically.
Yeah, I say stay put.
Yeah, I think they just stay put.
They were interested in JVR and like Brett Ritchie a while ago, or Nick Ritchie, sorry, a while ago, but I really don't see much coming out of that, so I'm gonna say stay put.
By the way, they're 4 points out of a playoff spot.
Oh, four, sorry.
Wild card 2.
I'm not good at math, guys. Next up, Carolina. What are we thinking?
Passive buyers.
Passive. Yeah, Jack.
Passive.
Yeah, passive's pretty justifiable. Honestly, I can't really see many of these teams being like bona fide buyers. I gotta be
Yeah,
honest.
same.
Chicago, I think without question, yeah, that's just yeah. They've already made a ton of deals. McCabe, they made another deal. Why am I not thinking of it?
Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson. There's
Yeah.
another one. I don't know why I can't think of it.
That's a major trade. You should know this.
Okay, all right. And then there's the Patrick Kane rumors as well. There's Connor Murphy on the market. There's Max Domi on the market. They still have a lot of players to move. Colorado. I think they actually could be buyers. I think Colorado could surprise us this week.
I think so too. I'm probably leaning toward passive buyers, but I could also see buyers.
I'll leave it to Carter yet again.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Jack. I think they'll be passive, but I feel like they definitely might try and push hard on someone because I don't think we've even talked about this. Apparently, Landeskog could be out for the year. Like he might not return for the postseason too.
Oh, really?
I saw one post on that from a Avs fans like Snapchat story, and then I saw another one on Instagram. So Landeskog could be done. So if that is the case, I think they're gonna have to go as buyers and try and make a push for a couple players or at least one to try and fill that Landeskog role.
Yeah, I figured that like he'd be out till postseason and they'd pull a Kucherov and like do that cap type stuff. But like now that I'm hearing that, maybe they should go out and like buy. But
Yeah.
Really, I don't know who they could buy. So I'm gonna put them in passive sellers. I think, or passive buyers. I mean, yeah,
Cars on the market.
they're selling. McKinnon gone. Landeskog gone. McCarr gone.
All of them.
They're rebuilding around Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. Columbus. I don't think they'll be sellers per se. I think they'll be passive sellers, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because they got Gavrikov and then Nyquist, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, passive sellers because they just have only a couple guys.
Yeah. And even then, like, I think it's just gonna be Gavrikov that gets moved. Not even like Nyquist, but Korpisalo could as well. That could be a justifiable thing as well. But Dallas. What are we thinking for Dallas?
Dallas probably passive buyers.
All right. Carter, what do you think? If you just ran away, what just happened?
I'm thirsty. I had to grab a Gatorade.
Oh, for audio listeners, Carter just ran off the screen without even saying anything.
All right, dogs escaped again.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you guys don't even know that story. Anyways,
Yeah.
Carter,
Yeah, they
what do you
do.
think the Stars will be?
I don't know. I can see them being passive buyers and I can see them being buyers. I'm gonna go with buyers because they haven't played too well as of late. So I think they're gonna have to go out and try and acquire a decent piece, I think. So I'm gonna go with buyers.
They suck in OT. Yeah,
And they suck against playoff teams, man.
yeah, they're like 10-9 and something like that. 10-9 and 10 against playoff teams, which is just mind-boggling. Detroit. With Bertuzzi no longer being moved, I don't think this team really does anything. Like, they haven't been interested in anybody to be buyers.
Yeah, I don't think
off the market. I don't think so. They'll probably keep Larkin. They won't deal him. So, I think we'll just do stay put.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd put them at staying put.
Yeah, like I don't see that many players getting moved. Edmonton, on the other hand, buyers. Just buyer. Because they're working on deals with Edmonton and Ekholm, supposedly. So let's make them go buyers, right, guys? Do you guys agree?
I agree.
Whatever you say, Dad.
All right. Florida. What are we thinking for Florida?
Ooh.
They're a tough one, I'll be honest. I'm gonna say staying put.
Yeah, they're in the playoff race, and they actually have a lot of their games left at home.
Yeah, probably stay put. I could also see passive sellers.
Yeah, I'm gonna just stay put as well. I agree. Los Angeles. They're in on Chikrin. That's basically it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, honestly, the other thing too, we've brought it up a couple times before, but like they could also go out for a goalie. So I'm gonna say passive buyers. Yeah. Minnesota. I think they could also just be passive buyers, to tell you the truth. Because like they've been in on Brock Besser, they've been in on a few other guys, but like nobody really too big. So also I'm gonna go with passive buyers. Montreal. I think they'll do passive sellers because of all the injuries they have. My guess is silent.
No, I think they'll be passive sellers because they don't have a lot of like expiring deals that makes them want to sell like just everything and blow it up because they have a good future. It's not worth blowing it up because again, they're still a pretty solid team this year. Like, let's be honest, and they've been without Cole Caulfield for like 2 months. So
they're like close to 500 almost.
Yeah. So I think they'll just be passive sellers and try and get some for Edmonton and that realm. So
yeah, they'll be passive sellers for sure. Nashville, I don't think they'll be seller, but I think they'll probably make one more move and that'll be like a Dante Fabro deal. But apart from that, I don't think they'll really do much.
No,
I think we're looking at passive sellers here.
What?
Passive sellers.
Yeah. I don't see them doing. They really can't do anything because like of all the contracts they have. Like, they have so many big contracts. They really can't do much of anything, really. They've already dealt almost all the guys that they can really deal. Maybe Kevin Lankinen? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Jack's favorite goalie.
Yeah.
Was just a liability in Like
He was good in his rookie year. 2020?
I guess Devils. I think they already made their big move.
Yeah, they're done. Stay put.
Well, I mean, like they said that they might make another trade to improve their look. They like apparently all met today to discuss depth, but
Yeah, I saw that too.
I don't think they make a big move. So I'm gonna say stay put as well. I agree. Islanders. I also think they're done. Really, I don't
Yeah.
see the Islanders really doing much of anything.
Yeah, I mean,
The Barzal injury kind of screws them over. That really makes me scared for this team. So I'm gonna staying put. I don't really think they can do anything. Rangers. I think after the Kane deal, I think they'll be done.
yes, passive buyers.
I guess passive buyers, yeah, because who knows? Maybe they'll make another cat move and surprise us. Hearing the New York Rangers have acquired Jacob Chikrin. I'd lose my mind. Ottawa Senators. I'm low
Passive buyers.
Yeah, I'm low key. That's like the first non-playoff team that I say, yeah, passive buyers. Because like they're like not in the playoffs. They probably won't make the playoffs, but they'll still be a pretty good team. They're still a really good team. And they'll just get guys with term. Like that's really what they'll do. Flyers.
Oof.
Passive sellers or buyers.
Probably passive sellers.
I want to say passive sellers, but I've seen so many rumors of Tony DeAngelo, Ivan Provorov, Travis Konechny was in rumors for a little bit and he's gone. So JVR, I don't know. I'm just gonna say sellers because I feel like that's what they should do. But are they? No.
Kevin Hayes too. Maybe they can move him. I really hope
they'll have to retain some salary, but
it would suck. I love Kevin Hayes. It's just signed to an ass contract. Pittsburgh. I don't think there's anything really either. They don't have that many players they can move, or really go out and get. So I'm gonna go stay put. San Jose sellers. I think they still have a lot of pieces left to sell. To be honest with you, so I'm gonna go sellers since nobody else is talking. St. Louis. I think they got one more big deal left. It's Colin Parayko. Apart from that, I think they'll just be bona fide passive sellers.
Yeah.
They've already made all their big deals. So Colin Parayko.
They've already blown up most of their roster. So
yeah. Tampa.
I think they're done.
Yeah. I think they're done as well. I agree. I don't see them making it. They don't have any first until 2026. So yeah. Toronto.
But that still means they can trade it.
Oh, they can still trade their 2026?
Well, they traded their 2026 second or something. Someone traded it 2026.
So I guess they can. Maybe. Who knows? Chikrin.
Whoa!
Besser. I don't know. Leafs. I don't think they make another move. I think the Leafs are done as well.
I think they're done too.
They've still been rumored in things, though. That's what, I think they stay put, but maybe they make some sort of minor move or something. And
I think their last move was today. McCabe and Rafferty.
Who knows? Maybe they'll shock us and trade for a forward.
Yeah, maybe.
JVR.
Do it, Toronto. I don't care. Take the cap off of us. I don't know how the hell you would management of all teams, but you know what? Go for it. Vancouver. I don't think they'll be seller, but I think they'll still give up a couple players. I think Besser will still be on the move, or they'll at least try and move him. They'll try and move Miller the best they can, but I don't think they can. I'll be passive sellers, to be honest.
Yeah.
Vegas, with Mark Stone's LTR money, I think they could be buyers. I think they could shock us and be buyers realistically.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah, so we'll go buyers for them. Capitals.
Passive sellers.
They'll be passive.
Yeah, passive sellers for sure.
100%. And then last but not least, the Winnipeg Jets. Carter, they're kind of passive buyers.
Yeah, passive buyers.
Because they've kind of been playing bad lately.
I know. They here's the thing: it's they need something, but they don't want to give up a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're just gonna try and find a couple more depth guys. I don't think they're gonna go out of their way and find someone for defense. I think our defense is just fine, unless they decide, hey, we're gonna go out and get Jacob Chikrin, which honestly, for the right price, would not be too mad about. But Yeah, I think they're just gonna go out and try and acquire just some sort of forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our trade deadline tier bracket right there. Take a screenshot of it, yell at us if you want to. But that's pretty much yeah, yell at me. That's pretty much all we got for this podcast. Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching and listening. It's been a very long podcast. The next one we may not see Carter in. There's a strong possibility Carter might not be in the next episode because where are you gonna be, Carter? Florida?
Carter is chilling down in Orlando.
Carter is coming to the USA to join me and Jack.
I'm gonna actually have cable, according to Jack.
Oh yeah, that's right. You finally got cable, Carter. Way to go.
So proud.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
But yeah, so we might bring on like Bartner yet again, or we might bring on like Max for another episode. Maybe we'll bring on
maybe you don't get rid of me and maybe I somehow still come.
Maybe you could do a NordCast in Florida.
Realistic cool. NordCast by the pool? Oh my god.
Yes, do it.
Real committed people will do that. And as well as that too, you should have your nights free and available to record with the gang.
And I'm not gonna be eating.
Yeah.
Maybe you still will be.
I definitely still will be. I'll be snacking on something.
At the family dinner, just record.
Or maybe me and Jack will solo a podcast. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways.
I'll go to one of the Disney fucking buffets and I'll have Mickey join the pod.
What's up, guys? It's Carter. It'll be like 9 p.m. though. Oh wait, you'll be in Eastern time now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God. And Jack will be alone. But anyways,
yeah.
Thank you all for listening. We're about to run out of time here. Really do appreciate it. Make sure to listen, give us a good review, subscribe if you're new, and yeah, we'll see you guys in the next podcast. Adios.